Yeah. Okay, so 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
Hello, everyone, and thank you again to Big Law for that wonderful intro. Thank you, chat, for all of your generosity as we kick off Speed4 TLC. I'm Skellakitty, my pronouns are Z here, and I am your host for our opening Spyro block. I know all of you have been waiting for the event to kick off, so let's turn it over to Toasted Cat and the rest of our amazing Spyro crew for Spyro 1. 120%.
Alright. Thank you for that intro. And before we start, there was a poll, donation incentive for the color of Spyro that we're going to be playing as. And one of the options is retro, which you can see we have this beautiful skin here. So we have that set. And then I am ready. If you guys are ready on timer, I'm ready to start right now. Alright. 3, 2, 1, go. So this is Spyro, first of all the game, this is Spyro Reignited Trilogy. So this is a remake of the 1998 trilogy for the PlayStation 1 that came out in 2018 for consoles and then 2019 for PC. And then the category we're doing is 120, so we're playing only the first game, even though this game, the remake, has all 3 games. And we're going to be max percenting, so we're going to be getting all of the collectibles, getting 100%, and then unlocking the bonus level at the very end to finish the game and get 120%. So there's going to be a lot of... The main thing of this run is just a lot of gem collecting. We're going to be running around picking up a lot of treasure, and then occasionally a dragon here and there, and then very occasionally a thief egg. Those are the 3 collectibles. But yeah, this is just a old school PS1 platformer, so it's going to be a lot of tricks that we'll see later on, some cool speed tech. But it's going to be a lot of chill, just gem collecting. If my other 2 commentators want to introduce themselves.
Yeah, so hi everyone, I'm Chamey. I also run this game. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Tornite. I also run this game, mainly the 3rd one, which you'll see in a little bit, but I also run a little bit of Spyro 1 as well. So, yeah, so you got 3 different Spyro runners, 2 excellent Spyro 1 runners, and 1 Spyro 1 runner here on comms.
1 excellent Spyro 3 and has played Spyro 1 runner.
Probably, yeah, that's probably the best way to describe it. I have played Spyro 1.
Alright, it's coming up here in a second. Is going to be the first thief of the run, and what we're going to do is the thieves are actually really hard to get, so I'm going to try and manipulate him to go straight where I want him. Let's see here. Yep, no problem. So these thieves, if you've ever played the original game, compared to that, they are a lot faster and a lot trickier to get. And then they also have the added thing of, if you kill them normally, you get a 3.5-4 second cutscene of the egg collecting. But if you are in the air when you kill him, then the cutscene is just skipped. So what we do is, first of all, have to manipulate him to run to exactly where we want, like you saw me do. And then you jump in flames so that you don't get the cutscene. If you have to chase that thief the intended way, you lose 20-ish more seconds. It's a lot of time loss.
Yeah, but you don't have any skill issues. You never miss, ever.
I would never.
Ever. You never miss.
The one thing that that the Reignited Trilogy did that's different from the PS1 that Cat's going to be doing a few times throughout the run is something called guidebooking. So in the original, this feature was not a thing in the PS1 version, but here you can use our guidebook to be able to instant travel to any location that we've already traveled, as we saw kind of right there, that we've explored in the game. And so that kind of changes things a little bit in terms of routing for when you compare it to a Spyro 1, like a PS1 version of 120, and we might see some instances where, you know, Cat doesn't collect everything in a certain level, but that's basically intended because we want to make sure routing-wise it kind of makes sense, and it's easier sometimes to just guidebook in and out of the level for time purposes?
There's actually only one level, besides a homeworld, that will revisit and actually not get everything in it at the first go. And I'll point that out and explain why we get to it about halfway through the run, a little bit less. But yeah, like you saw there, leaving Stone Hill, it's in that instance, it's just like half a second faster to guidebook back to the starting bridge than it is to leave the level like you're supposed to. So that, it barely mattered right there, but then when we leave Town Square here, you'll see I'll do it again, and instead of having to run back up the tunnel that I just came through and go back up to the start, we can just, again, go back to the start of the homeworld. This homeworld, we do it a lot, because everything is kind of spread out, and the place you teleport to when you go back to the homeworld is kind of in the center, so it just makes a lot of sense to leave most levels that way.
I can't believe you forgot about the second level revisit and get stuff in. Can't believe you forget Shemp like that. That's crazy.
Okay. Shemp, I guess, counts.
Yeah, you gotta grab those 2 chests that take half a second
Yeah.
on the revisit. That's crazy. Can't believe you forgot that.
So going to Town Square here, this level is very heavily cycle-based. Because if you see, like, right in front of me, there's a bull and a matador running around a fountain. There is another set of those at the very end of the level, and I basically want to do the rest of the level fast enough that I can make that cycle. If I don't, it's no big deal. It's only like a couple seconds of time lost, but it's what I would like to make. So right here, next thief. Oh, I don't know why I went so wide there.
Oh, wow.
That was really weird. Yeah. That thief, actually, like, we purposely let him jump down, because when he jumps up again, he, like, jumps up to another step, and he goes high enough that you can, like, catch his head with a flame and also jump out of it, so you can skip his animation. Then right here, just gonna make that cycle, kill the bull right as I get here. Perfect. Just gonna get the last couple of gems here, and then you're gonna see me guidebook again. And then this is gonna take us back to the same place we left when we left Stonehill, you'll see. We're gonna go a couple levels now without guidebooking, so. And then coming up here is gonna be our first flight level. Normally you're not supposed to know this level is here. It's supposed to be a secret that one of the dragon's cutscenes later in the game tells you, but obviously I played this game once or twice before, so I know where it is. Just gotta jump on those stones and it reveals it. Now, what the flight levels do is, if you've probably noticed in the other levels, is there's a certain amount of treasure, we have to run around and get all that, plus a couple dragons, maybe an egg, is like the goal of every other level. In the flight levels, Spyro gets actual flight, like you're gonna see I can fly around. There are 4, like, objectives, like 4 items that I need to collect, and there are 8 of each, so you can see 2 barrels in each train. I'm gonna go for an arch here, and the goal of the flight levels is to just fly around and get all of the collectibles as fast as possible. They're supposed to be like time trial levels with the built-in timer, so. Sunny Flight is one of the hardest, even though it's the first, because it's so cycle-based for us. You can see, like, how I'm getting all these planes and going back and forth to the trains. If I mess up and, like, miss anything, I'd be completely off cycle and lose a bunch of time, but luckily it did not happen. You can also see I'm trying to keep Spyro as close to the water as possible. Like when I just went up for that arch, I immediately charged straight down. That's because the closer you are to the water, the faster he actually goes. So we just kind of, as much as possible, want to hug the water, stay as low as we can. And then right at the end, there's going to be what's called an animation cancel. Normally when you get the last collectible, Spyro flies up and does like a little twirl and it does an animation. It takes like 4 seconds. But if you actually just bonk into any, or like run into anything while the animation is playing, it'll just immediately stop and let you exit level. So that saves a good 4 seconds doing that.
And I believe there's a second way to kind of do that, basically doing a frame perfect pause to kind of quit you level at the same time that you're getting the last collectible.
Yeah. I love the sunny pause. That's my favorite.
Yeah, you can see
Pause in the game.
if you pause while you're in the flight, you can actually see how many gems you've gotten, because each set of collectibles gives you 60 when you get all of them, and then you get another 60 for getting all 4 at the same run. So if you get like 3 sets, you'll have 180, and then when you get the last collectible, you can actually like pause over and over, and you can see it'll go 180 to 240 to 300. And if you pause and just quit level on 300, you'll get all of the all the gems you need, even though you didn't like watch the ending out. There's one level we will try and go for that because there's no possible animation cancel otherwise, but I'm not the best at hitting the frame perfect pauses, so we do play this game at 50 FPS, so they're not the easiest.
Yeah, I was about to say, if we're talking about frame perfect pauses, might as well mention that for Spyro Reignited Trilogy as a whole, all the main categories are played on FPS values set from 30 to 60. And there's a lot of reasons for that, but this game built on the Unreal Engine, so the lower the FPS, the higher Spyro actually jumps in this game. So 30 FPS is the native on console, so we've adapted that to PC as well, making it lower would be... First of all, it would just look terrible, but secondly, it would like really start to break the game. And then we don't want to do it above 60 because there are some other things that happen when you go above 60 FPS. But for Spyro 1, we typically like to play around 50 FPS. It's usually like a runner's choice. Anything besides 60 FPS is pretty fine.
Yeah, we have it set that between 30 and 60 just for like fairness, you know, if no one who has like a supercomputer can run at like 240 frames and get an advantage somehow. But in Spyro 1 in particular, 50 FPS is usually the best and preferred for most categories. Alright, and then coming up here, we're actually going into our first boss level. They actually named this boss after me, fun fact.
Fun fact. They probably named it after you on your after your first playthrough.
I think so.
You beat the game and they're like, oh, we just have to give it to them.
Yeah. So the bosses in this game are kind of not really bosses. They're bosses in the most basic sense. You have to hit them a couple times and then they die, but they are all extremely easy. Even like Metalhead, which is probably the hardest boss, is not hard.
Yeah, when we say bosses, just picture all of us saying the word bosses with like the biggest air quotes you can imagine.
Yeah, all the dogs in this level are harder than Osty by far, and I'm already struggling. So these dogs are some of the only enemies in the game that can actually take 2 hits. So you're supposed to flame them once to like burn their coat and then flame them again to actually kill them. However, we can do something called flame roll cancels, where if you flame and then you can roll Spyro to cancel the flame, and then you jump to cancel the roll, then you can flame again really quickly, and it lets you just take them out really fast. Although for some reason, I still don't know why, but sometimes it's a little finicky and they can just not take damage if you do it in a certain way. So you can see that's why I've already taken a hit in this level. It's not a big deal. As long as I'm not going, taking too much damage. You can kind of, if one wants to explain how Sparks works with taking damage, so...
Yeah. So in Spyro, like the original trilogy and the SRT, Sparks will be your little companion that goes alongside your adventure with you. Sparks is pretty helpful because whenever you get close enough to gems, Sparks will actually pick up those gems for you, so you don't have to directly touch them yourself. Because if you didn't have Sparks, you actually have to pick up each gem individually. Whereas with Sparks, you just run sort of close to them, and he's most likely going to get them. But another interesting thing about Sparks is he's also your health indicator. He has 4 different states. You have Gold Sparks, which means you're at full health. Then you have Blue Sparks, which means you took 1 hit, so you take 3 more hits before you die. Then you have Green Sparks, you take 2 more hits before you die, and then when you're at no Sparks, the next hit you take, you do die. But there are what we call fodder spread around throughout the game. They're just like these little animals running around homeworlds and levels where you flame them or charge into them, you actually get an extra Sparks back to increase health again.
Yeah, you're gonna see that right now.
Here. Yep.
So you see that I'm gonna go from blue to gold, now back to full health.
Yep. And it's pretty important to enter Dry Canyon on Gold Sparks because we usually do 2 damage abuses here unless you're going for the
I only do the 1.
Damage abuses. You do the 1, yeah. All right.
Yeah, I did time that, and going for the 1 is like almost exactly the same, or slightly faster.
Yeah.
So
There you go.
So the fun little fact about the Sparks health indicator, which is really cool for Reignited Trilogy, if you play this on a PS4, the light on your PS4 controller actually matches up with Sparks' color at
oh
that
yeah,
time.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's
forgot that
actually
was
kind
the
of
thing.
crazy.
yeah.
Yeah,
Dude,
it
it's
was
about
real. It
cuts.
was really freaky, but really cool to see. And for anyone curious, when Sparks is not there, your controller turns red.
That's amazing. Dude, Toys for Bob really cooked with this game.
That's a
Everyone
reference
should
to
play
Red
this
Sparks
game.
in the Japanese version, surely. And in A Hero's Tale.
Is there red sparks?
Yeah, you can get a health upgrade for Sparks in A Hero's Tale that makes him red on your and gives you an extra hit.
Yo, dude, that's so edgy. I can't. Oh, he's so cool.
Yeah, so we're into the
So-
first level of the second homeworld, Dry Canyon. Going through it pretty quickly. You're gonna see in a second, I'm gonna be doing a little secret that you're supposed to figure out, but obviously we already know. You see, like, these gems are supposed to lead you around this corner, and then you go, oh my god, secret dragon and a key. That's the first key. Oh, it's actually not the first key of the run. We got one in Stonehill. There's a lot of different containers in this run. You can see, like, I just broke some metal chest. Here's a fan chest right here. You need to flame it 3 times and it will break. The key I picked up was for a key chest, which will open in a minute. It's just you need to find the key first, and then you can unlock the chest. So, like, levels with key chests will usually route around getting the key first, so you can actually, actually unlock the key chest when you get to it. These are firework crates. Normally you're supposed to flame them, and they will, like, catch fire for a second and then explode and drop the gems. But as you saw in the second one there, you can actually charge into them and they'll instantly break, and all the gems will, like, automatically home into you and collect. So in a lot of cases, we will just run into them and take the damage to collect it faster.
There's also the spring chest, which we saw earlier in this
Yeah.
level and throughout the run so far, and we're also about to see a few more coming here in a second. Basically, you're supposed to flame them, and then the gems are supposed to spring up into the air, and you're supposed to jump up and get them, but in this game, we can actually just charging jump as we're about to hit them, and the hitbox from Spyro will actually activate the spring action, so you can do it all in one motion to get the gems while jumping. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, if you saw me just get all 3 of those right there really quickly. Just while time jumps. While charging.
Now we're about to go for first actual frame perfect pause of the run, which is called a fly and skip.
Yeah.
Flying skips are pretty fun. There's a few set levels where it is worth it. So at the start of every level, you get this little fly-in animation where Spyro does like a big loop-de-loop in the air, but there are a few levels in the game where Spyro does a much bigger loop-de-loop. And the problem with that is we time this game using loadless timer, and about halfway through that animation, the timer starts to tick, and we don't want that. So fly and skip, essentially, we pause on the exact same frame we touch the portal to enter a level, and if you do it right, the game thinks you're already in the level because you've touched the trigger to load the level. We quit the game, we continue, and then it puts us at the start of the level because that's where it assumes we quit the game from. Whenever we do them, on the few levels we do them, it saves about 4 to 4.5 seconds on average.
Yeah, and this level it saves 4.5. There's a couple more levels I'll have the chance to go for it on, so hopefully I can show it off. Oh, this jump sometimes.
Also saves
we
a
go.
lot of time RTA. I don't know if y'all noticed, there are some loading times, and a lot of people complain about that in like the OG Spyro community, but they're not that bad. They're not that bad, you know? I like, when I'm doing a run, I like to be able to take a sip of my drink, or have a little snack, or, like if I'm streaming, look at my chat and be able to read things, It's a nice
Yeah.
little loading
And
time.
all those, if you're playing this on console, the loading times, they are very severe. Like, I know with some games you can have, like, in-game time be like, I don't know, for example, like 45 minutes, and then the RTA is like a half hour longer just because of the loading in this game.
Well, that's also just IGT doesn't count a lot of things. Like anytime you're in dialogue or anything, IGT doesn't count. But yeah, going back to here. In this like wide open area, you can see there's like all these birds. I'm actually gonna bait a couple of birds, like this one I'm gonna bait early, the one on the left, so that way when I turn around, he's gonna be flying right towards me. I can just charge right through him. There's also slightly faster to leave these gems for later, because there's this little spot in the cliff you can jump back up. And then there's not that much left for Cliff Town. Just gotta get these last couple gems and one more dragon.
We're about to go into the most caked up boss you've ever seen.
I would say probably the most iconic boss in this game. Maybe arguably more so than the actual final boss in this game.
It might be. The Dr. Shemp, as made famous by Cheeks%.
You love Cheeks%. Oh my god.
Yeah, a little bit after we started running this game, Famey, I, and another friend were, we made a category to just see who can get the Shemp and flame his ass the fastest.
That sounds so bad when you say it like that. This
How else
guy, he's got a fatty back there, alright? It is huge. I don't know what they were thinking.
I know what they were thinking.
So Shemp is one level that we are doing technically 2 trips, although the second trip is going to be a literal blink and you miss it type of deal, because it's mainly for routing purposes. The routing in this level basically makes it so it's easier to collect like 99% of everything in here, and then we just kind of we leave, and then when we come back, we'll be closer to the last level that we're gonna go through in this home world, and also collect the final 10 gems. I think that's what the those 2 metal cases are.
There's 2 5s, yeah.
Tori, you're so smart. Your notes, you're such a good note taker. I love it.
You have notes for every gem, like every container, what gem is in it for the whole run.
Oh, not every container. It would be really funny if I had a note on every single
Oh, there he is. Look at him go. Yeah, you may not have noticed it, but right before the dragon, I actually jumped up on the platform and then came back down, and that's because Shep normally has like a little animation that he does like right when you get up there and he like shows off before you can actually hit him. You can actually go up there just early and trigger it, and then he'll play it while you're freeing the dragon, and then when you get back up there he'll be ready for you to hit, like you saw. And the key chest right here. And that's pretty much the end of the level right there. Now, leaving Shemp, and then we're going to be going into our next flight level, which, like I said before, there's going to be like 4 sets of collectibles that we need, and we're going to fly around. So if you want to take over, read some donations for a minute while I'm doing this one.
Absolutely, I would be very happy to. Now that we've gotten through, do we have officially gone through Cheeks%? Yes.
Yeah, we have.
Cheeks% is done.
Wonderful, wonderful. But yeah, I want to thank everyone who has been sending in donations during this run. So I'm just going to read out some that have come through since we've started. We had $10 from Caro, who says, "You better believe trans rights are human rights." Chipping in to show some support for TLC and see you Sunday. Hope everyone will turn in Sunday as well to see Caro's run. And we had $50 from Mr. Game and Shout saying, "2 things I unabashedly love: dragons and any opportunity to make Shock and Amy's lives just a little bit more difficult." That donation went to our incentive for Borderlands 2 to add in a glitch exhibition. We opened that up during this run since you all just smashed through that Kirby incentive, which was amazing. Also, we received a $100 anonymous donation. Absolutely wonderfully fantastic and generous. No comment, but we absolutely appreciate the support this weekend for TLC for the Transgender Law Center. I will let folks know we are leaving open the poll for Spyro's color, so that way when we get to Turo's run, y'all can have a second chance to decide what should be the color of our best dragon boy. Retro is still continuing to win, but I think we have plenty of time. If people have opinions about colors, your other two options are blue and pink.
Yeah, let's get pink Spyro.
Hey, I'm more partial to blue Spyro, but that's just my own personal bias.
Yeah, but Toro's wrong, so everyone go donate for pink. Also, yeah, Borderlands 2 is a really cool game, and there are a lot of cool glitches in that game, so if we can get some money for that incentive, that'll be really sick to see. It'll be worth it, I promise. But yeah, right here, you're gonna see, because, like, there's that tunnel that has a key chest in it that kind of just doesn't lead to anywhere, so it ended up being better for homeworld routing to end in there, guidebook back to Shemp, and then because those two chests are just kind of off to the side, we just get those two, and then we leave. And then that's going to put us back over here, right before we went into Night Flight, and now we can go the opposite way, get these gems in the corners, and then go over to Ice Cavern. Yeah, nothing too interesting in Ice Cavern. This level is tied with Dark Passage for the most dragons in a level. Has 5. Most levels only have 3 or 4.
It's also a really pretty level too.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite levels aesthetically. It's really cool.
This is
Yep.
probably my favorite level aesthetically in SRT.
It's also just a fun level to play.
Pretty.
This game
It
does
is.
look pretty.
This is such a pretty game.
Yeah, something I haven't talked about yet, but it's just a little bit. I just did it right there. It's something called a boosted jump, where if you are holding charge and then you kind of slide your thumb into the jump, Spyro will also like slide into a jump, and he ends up getting he gets some more forward momentum and just slightly more height than he would with a normal jump. And for like that spring chest right there, that gave me just enough height to get high enough to like bash my head straight onto it and break it. So there's a couple places, it won't be really obvious when I'm doing boosted jumps, but there's a couple places that whatever I'm doing wouldn't be possible without it. Oops. And then right here is going to be our first death abuse of the run.
Oh no, I can't.
Oh
believe
no,
that.
I can't believe I just did that. That was such a silly mistake.
Oh no, it must have been the controller.
Yeah, I
How
blame the
convenient
controller.
that there's so many gems all over right where we spawned.
Yeah.
What a happy accident.
Maybe this would be better for the actual route. Oh my god, has anyone ever thought of that?
Oh man, that is. We definitely need to incorporate that. Get whoever it has world record in this category on the line. Oh wait, no, that's you, Cat.
Wait, do I? That's crazy. Oops, give me that.
And one thing I love about Reignited, is, especially in Reignited 1, is in comparison to the original PS1 version of this game.
Oh no.
Ooh.
That was
Don't worry,
silly.
that was intentional.
Oh, look how convenient. I'm back here where the gems are. That was wow.
But yeah, one thing that I love in Reignited 1 is the fact that Toys for Bob redesigned every single dragon in this game. Because you kind of saw, if you see all the dragons in Spyro 1, in the PS1 version, they eventually start to kind of blend in a little bit together in terms of design. Not all of them, but some of them, there's only so much you can do on a PS1 in terms of models. But for the Reignited trilogy, every single dragon got a very unique and really cool looking design.
Yeah, I think in the original game there's only like 5 or 6 dragon models. Actually, then they just reuse them over
Yeah,
and
and
over.
just recolor them and reuse
Yeah,
them,
if you unfortunately we're not gonna be able to see much of the designs because I'm gonna be skipping all the cutscenes, but all the dragons look really cool in my opinion and have like cool designs, and they all have voice acting,
Yeah.
unique voice acting. It's really cool.
You know
lot
what
of
else
good
is
detail.
pretty cool? People who play this game. I think
Yeah.
everyone should just play this game, It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I have no bias, but this is the best speed game of all time, so I really recommend people pick it up.
I have no bias, but Retro Spyro looks so interesting.
Oh, that's such a nice way to put it.
It's making it so hard to think.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was saying it as we were starting the run, and I realized Retro Spyro was winning. Even playing, so there's like the colored cheat codes. That's what the donation incentive was for. There's like 8 colors I think that you can pick, and there's also retro. And even playing as a different color than usual, because I usually played full purple, just throws me off. But having the retro, like completely different model is really disorienting a little bit. Hasn't been that bad so far, but it does throw me off a little bit.
Now we get into Magic Crafters. This is where the real fun begins.
Yeah, so this is when the like biggest speed tech of the run comes into play, starting in this first level we're going to be going into, and that is supercharged sharp turning with keyboard and mouse. If Jamie, if you want to explain what that is.
Yeah. So whenever the game, how about this? Let me think what I'm gonna say real fast. Okay. So it's starting in Magic Crafters, and we'll see it in certain levels as well throughout the rest of the game. There are these supercharge ramps. Basically, there are these big hills with arrows pointing down. If you charge down them for long enough, Spyro will go into a state called supercharging, which basically means he can charge a lot faster, and he can pretty much break anything and kill anything. He can do all sorts of things in supercharging. It didn't really mean anything until they decided to port the game over to PC, because a little oversight happened, and with keyboard and mouse instead of controllers, you can turn very sharp. I mean, we can do a lot more crazy things with supercharging. So, usually on controller, you would like supercharge for like 10 seconds or something like that at most, because you can't turn very fast on controller. So at some point, you would bonk or just have to stop because you couldn't do anymore. But then we started developing the keyboard mouse, or as we refer to it, KBM strats. And now most levels with supercharge, we pretty much carry throughout the level as long as possible. The goal with every supercharge we have is to carry it for as long as possible, because we move a lot faster and we can still collect things while supercharging. So you'll see Kat right here doing bike caves, and also it might have blink and miss it kind of moment. We'll see it coming up here in a second as well. On certain parts of walls, depending on the angle of the walls and stuff like that, you can actually rub Spyro against the wall while supercharging, and instead of bonking and losing the supercharge, you would actually just get a slowdown. But unfortunately, he just bonked there. I have not seen a bonk there before. So
Yeah, that happens every once in a while. It's annoying. What I was supposed to do was get the supercharge to go all the way through that cave, come out here, and then break all these fan chests with it. But unfortunately, that bonk happened. There's like a very specific spot in that cave that can bonk you, and it's annoying, but it happens.
Yeah.
Still went through the meat and potatoes of bike caves, which is still very, very impressive.
And then we're going into another supercharge, another shorter one right here immediately.
And all these supercharges that we are doing, the way we put them on PC, pretty much all of them can only be done on KBM. There might be a couple that you can stretch with a controller. But I think most of what we do for sure is kind of locked behind using keyboard and mouse. And whenever we use turning on a keyboard and mouse, we actually don't use directional keys on the keyboard. It's all in the mouse. Because if you use the directional keys on your keyboard, like WASD or like the arrow keys, it just acts as a D-pad, which is similar to an analog stick, so there is a limit to what you can do there. But if you're turning with your mouse, you can turn extremely sharp, allowing you to do all sorts of things.
Yeah, there's still a limit to how fast you can turn, so there is like a skill ceiling getting used to like how much you can actually turn. But, or a skill floor, I should say. But, yeah, let you do a lot more. unfortunately, we've done the two easy supercharges, and they both haven't gone well. So I'm hoping the rest of them at least go.
So, so surely the
all the hard ones
really
go flawlessly,
hard ones,
right? That's what that
yeah,
means, right?
all the hard ones go flawless.
Yeah.
Surely.
So we're in Alpine here. This is a very cycle-heavy level, so we're gonna see right here. Just gonna make these stairs right as they come out.
This level's also very famous for breaking, for a majority of people who played this game on PC casually. And the reason why is because of this door right here. These little green wizards, they like move platforms up and down and walls up and down, and you're supposed to play around that.
Oh,
Without, essentially, all of them on this level will just break at certain FPS values. If you're playing on unlimited, there's a chance it happens. And if you're playing on any FPS that's a multiple of 12, it will also break. So 60, we have a hard cap between 30 and 60, but as I said, or as we said earlier, we play Spyro 1 on 50 FPS, and that's largely to avoid this level breaking.
yeah, it's an unfortunate quirk of Unreal Engine.
And imagine me doing an 80% run, not knowing the multiple of 12 little quirk, and just me spending like 2 minutes trying to figure out what was going on. So yeah, I'm sure it is a problem that a lot of people playing this game on PC probably encounter without any explanation as to why.
Yeah.
Also,
And then-
that thief right there is one of the hardest ones to get.
Yeah, so like we were saying earlier, the thieves are really fast in this game. That one in particular, if you miss, you have to do at least 2 laps around this little track, usually 3, to catch up to it. But interestingly, they'd have that like little taunt animation. You might have saw me waiting and just watching the thief for a second. That's because if you normally go after the thief when he's not laughing at you, he plays a little like jumping, getting scared animation and then starts running. But if he's in the middle of his taunt, he'll just skip the jumping animation and go straight to running. So if you wait for him to stop laughing and sit there, it makes getting him around that corner a lot easier and safer. It is possible to not have to wait, but for a marathon setting especially, I'm not going to risk it. Just take the extra half a second to wait and get him.
And this is also one of those levels that we are revisiting and actually collecting things throughout the rest of the level.
This is the only level that we're revisiting and actually getting a lot, besides like Shemp. You saw we got 2 chests that were right there. It's just, if you saw, there's like 2 sections. You can go either way, left or right at the start of the level. And there's like a lot of spiders in the level that you need to be supercharging for. So it's like, just works out to optimally if you split up the level into 2 like segments.
And fun thing about this level, you can actually, we kind of refer to them as High Caves 1 and High Caves 2. Depending on which charge you do is what you use to differentiate the two, the revisit and the first enter. But the fun thing is, you can do them in whatever order you want. So most people go left first and do the right side on the revisit, and that's because when you go left first, you have to do the harder supercharge of the 2. So it's better to just get the harder one out of the way. But there are some people who do the right side first. But speaking of hard supercharges, here's Wizard Peak.
Yeah, this level is the 2nd or 3rd hardest depending on the day in the run. The other 2 really hard levels in the top 3 are going to be a little bit later on in Dreamweavers, but yeah, if this supercharge goes right, you'll get to see like what an actually hard supercharge looks like. But no guarantees. Like, there actually has not been a run of 120 completed that's hit every supercharge strat yet. So or at least like no PBs or records. It is extremely hard. Where did this wizard go? Oh, he's like
even on the instances where you don't do the entirety of the circuit of doing the supercharge, even just getting to do certain portions of it is still already a feat in and of itself.
Yeah, and it's nice that like as long as you get the very first part and hopefully the second part of the supercharge, it's like the same speed as not going for it at all. So, not a huge risk if you're consistent enough with it. But I'm gonna be going for it right here.
I believe.
Okay, that's the first section. You can see we're still going. If it wasn't obvious, by the way, if you bonk while supercharging or like stop supercharging, you lose it and have to go back to the ramp to get it again. So, all right. Nice. That little corner is the hardest part to get that
There
shell.
we go. Nice.
And,
Perfect. Oh my god.
Still going. Still
Nice
going.
triple.
and all the way
Yeah,
up to the
that's a
dragon.
perfect
Perfect.
supercharge. Let's
Nice.
go.
Amazing.
I thought for sure that was gonna go awful after I messed up high caves and the homeworld. That's good though.
So what makes this supercharge incredibly difficult is there's a few factors. To me, one of the biggest ones is that first little island area, there's a thief on the back of the platform behind a wall, and it is a very narrow area where Spyro can stand on. So you have to be able to jump around, kill the thief, but you can't run into the thief. You have to jump into him, because if you run directly into him while you're on the ground, you get the egg animation, which takes you out of supercharge. So you have to kill him while you're in the air, and then you also have to make sure you land back on the platform. You also have to make sure you don't get like a weird slowdown. It's like there are all sorts of factors you have to think about when doing this supercharge.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that can easily go wrong. Since this is 120, if you miss a gem, you know, you're really losing time. Like I said, if you bonk or stop your supercharge, you have to go back to the ramp to restart it, so... But yeah, we're on another flight level, so if we have any more donations for the moment...
Oh, well, I am very happy to kind of let folks know where their donations can go to. As a reminder, we are continuing to leave open the poll for the Spyro color for the next Spyro run. And we were having a little debate earlier about pink or blue or sticking with retro. I'm on team blue.
Thank you.
But if you all have opinions, I mean, you can go ahead and make those opinions known via donation to the Transgender Law Center. We also still have our target for a Borderlands 2 glitch exhibition. We need another $100 to be able to meet that. And just a quick reminder of why we're here, what we are raising money for over the course of this weekend. We are here for the Transgender Law Center. They help to change policy, laws, and attitudes so that all people can live safely, authentically, and free from discrimination, regardless of their gender identity or expression. It's a wonderful cause. We're so happy to be supporting them over the course of this weekend. And if you would like to join in, please feel free to use !donate in chat, just like Hockey Babbler did, donating $10, saying, "Chat, I want to hear about your favorite memories of Spyro. Mine is when Spyro saves you from being executed by the Imperials at Helgen."
That's a good part. That's a good part. I like that level.
Bro, I have a question. What's your Spyro of choice?
My
I always
Spyro-
forget.
My
Yeah.
Spyro color?
Yes.
Blue. Then I've recently only discovered that blue is my favorite as of late, because while practicing for this marathon, I came across a funny little quirk where Spyro would end up being in a near permanent rolling state.
Oh
and
yeah, the Sonic.
And if you put in the blue skin cheat code, Spyro looks a little bit like Sonic the Hedgehog.
Mustard Spyro is the way to go, though. Everyone should know that. The best Spyro. He's the best at this bully. Also, that was a boss level.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Like,
They're just so...
Boss.
If we didn't say it was a boss level, you probably wouldn't have known. There's literally like only one level, or like one boss level in this game that acts differently from the rest of the boss levels, and it's actually kind of fun, but it's still not that hard.
Yeah, every boss, including the final boss, is just go up, hit them, they run away, find it, like chase them, hit them, maybe chase them a third time. Except for Metalhead in this homeworld, it's like actually a pretty cool boss fight, even though it's still not hard.
It's not hard, but it's fun.
And
Yeah.
even then, it's still kind of a similar
Never forget
format.
Yeah, you break all his pylons to damage him, and then you chase him, and then you do it again. It's just...
Yeah.
But, yeah, so this is the Beastmaker's homeworld. This is where kind of some of the levels start to ramp up in difficulty. And there's a couple of infamous levels in terms of speedrunning in this homeworld, but it'll be interesting to see how Cat tackles them. There's some
Also-
I'm really looking forward to one particular level that we'll see in a little bit, but I'm not going to spoil it.
Yeah, the two hardest levels, infamously, like casually, in this homeworld are Misty Bog for all the enemies, and Treetops for just being the most confusing if you don't understand what you're supposed to be doing. So, for all of you who hated dying to the frogs in Misty or got lost in Treetops, this homeworld's dedicated to you.
This is payback time.
But yeah, first we're going into Terrace. This is the first level of the homeworld. This first section is pretty simple, but the like second section we'll be coming up on in a second is all very cycle based. You're gonna see, like you saw in the homeworld, there's gonna be these couple guys that will zap the floors and then they like electrocute, and you need to not be on them. There is a god cycle I will be going for, but it is very difficult to hit because you need to do a trick called a shock jump, which is when if you like watch this guy, you see like wax the floor and then start zapping. There's actually a handful of frames between when he hits it and when it starts zapping. And if you jump off the floor in that time and then land back on, you won't take any damage. And that is something you have to do to hit God Cycle, so we will see what happens. Assuming I'm even on cycle for it. Makes me happy. I don't like Torch Jump anymore.
The torch jump is so fun though.
But yeah, also there's these metal containers that look like the key chests, but they actually don't have a lock. That's because they're firework crates, or they're not firework, but they're like strong crates that
Strong
break with a
chests.
firework. Yeah, you'll see me flame the firework in a different part of the level, and then oh, just barely off God Cycle.
Unlucky.
Yeah, but you'll see me flame a firework somewhere off in the level, and then it'll fly around a bit and then go break the strong chest. So that's why I had to go up to the top first and get those fireworks. Also, I am slightly unsure of a red gem that may or may not have picked up, and I'm a little worried about it, but if we're down a gem at the end of this level, I'll know exactly where it is, so not the biggest deal.
Yeah. Guess we'll find out.
That's definitely one of the biggest struggles, especially when learning completion completionist
I'm
category.
stupid.
Ooh.
That was an inch.
We're good. We're good.
That was sorry,
We're
just gonna go back up here.
But
I hate
yeah,
this fight.
one of the tough parts about learning a Spyro completionist category is keeping track of gems. And if you miss a gem, then it's like it starts to become a game of okay, where in the level could I have possibly missed a gem? And it's not easy. It's not easy retracing your steps, especially in these types of levels where there's a lot of areas that can only be accessed through like going for the net level normally.
Yeah.
I don't know about Cat, but I know a lot of other runners, myself included, for like a completionist category like this, will have like little gym counts in the middle of levels or in like home worlds, so we know like, oh, by the time we touch this dragon in this level, we should have this many gems collected in that level or something. And I only really keep those gem counts in mind on the levels where it's easy to miss a gem, because then you can kind of track where that gem is. You can be like, oh, that first dragon I was on good gem count, but the second dragon I'm actually like 5 gems under, so I probably missed a 5 gem on the way to this dragon or something.
Yeah, there's a couple
Also-
places I still have gem counts personally, like I think of, but I'm kind of at the point where if I miss a gem, the run's kind of dead, unless it's in a really
Yeah.
close spot, so, you know, it doesn't really matter.
Also, this is Wild Flight. This level is literally impossible.
Yeah.
It's impossible. You can't beat this level.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who complain on like the Steam forums for this game that'll just say like this level is not possible. You cannot beat it with the amount of time they give you.
It's my favorite thing on the Steam forum page. It's literally just a person complaining that this level is impossible, and I get the skill issues, but I just find it funny. Because I think they just didn't think that, you know, if they go in the opposite direction of the planes, they can hit them faster.
Yeah, I'm
I didn't even
understanding
know
of
that
the
was a
fact that
thing.
they're bad, but you know.
I didn't even know there were people on the Steam forums complaining. I'm like, what? People complain about it? Like, Wildflight's probably my favorite flight level out of the entire bunch.
It is definitely the hardest for a casual player, that's for sure. Oh, there's the that's a fly and skip, by the way.
Beautiful.
I didn't think about it until I was going for it, but yeah. So you saw, basically, when you pause in the homeworld, it says at the bottom, there's no option to exit level because you're not in a level, and then at the bottom it actually says you're in, like, for example, the Beastmaker's homeworld. It says what level you're in. So if you pause the game, like I did, and it says exit level as an option, and if you look at the bottom, it'll say I'm in Misty. That's how the game thinks I'm in the level because I've touched the portal. So then we can pause, quit the game to the main menu, and when we continue, it'll continue where we last left off, which the game thinks is Misty Bog. So yeah, like I said earlier, this level is infamous for having like the most brutal enemies in the game. They're a little bit easier in SRT compared to OG, but they're still very annoying.
Yeah. Even
These
top level speedrunners just get destroyed by these guys sometimes. And like
Yes.
not fun ones.
so
And the ending portion of this level is beyond brutal. Like, I would say probably the most difficult room in the entire game.
enemy-wise for sure. But yeah, you can see like there's these boars that charge you. They're not too bad to deal with. There's these frogs. Most of them can just be wherever they want to be. They move around, so you can just not. They can be in like really bad positions, and they can just be unlucky. And these metal guys also are easy. They'll just stand there and you charge them. But if you end up missing one a little bit and then like try and turn around, they will just instantly move and hit you. So you just can't really miss them. It is really easy to take multiple hits in this level. And then you will see what Toro was talking about in just a minute. Oops. Please, thank you.
Are you going for the jump?
Sure, I'll go for the jump.
Yay!
If it kills me though, this is on you.
Just fly and skip treetops and then get your
Okay.
time back. See, look, you're actually just so good at the game.
There's
That
a
was
little
all to
invisible.
save a quarter of a second.
Maybe.
Yeah,
It
so
saves
what
maybe a quarter of a
Cactus-
second to jump
yeah,
on
so
that
what
invisible
Cactus
ledge.
did was there was a hitbox on one of the lily pads or one of the big leaves, and the hitbox, the margin of error is very small on that jump, and normally you would just do the
Okay.
flying into that little corner of land
Also this room
where
right here.
Cat landed, where but like James said, like if you actually manage to make that jump, it's like a fraction of a second.
I'm so good. Yeah, if you just noticed, there was like, I think there's like 7 frogs and 5 or 6 of the metal guys or something like that in that.
Yeah, without a doubt, yeah, no doubt about it. Cat's goated.
That last stream, the Spyro community has given it 2 names. I'll use the more Spyro PG name of Frogtonimo Bay. Frogton.
I like to call
There
it
is
now the
another
Rainforest Cafe.
Yeah, I've heard that now. Alright, and then immediately following the hardest level enemy-wise in the run is the hardest level, like, puzzle-wise, if you're playing casually. So many people, like, when they're talking about, like, playing Spyro as a kid, they'll be like, I don't even remember, I was never able to beat treetops, or I had to get my dad to do it for me, or they just never beat it, and that's because what a lot of people don't realize is there are these 2 thieves that start in the level. You'll see, like, one right here. And they kind of show you the path you're supposed to take. You're supposed to, like, just follow them, and they show you kind of where you're supposed to go to solve the puzzles. But, yeah, a lot of people just, like, run away and don't realize you're supposed to follow them, so they get very lost. We're also not going to be doing anything the intended way, obviously, so...
No, we're better than that.
Yeah, like we were saying before, any level that has supercharge ramps in it basically just gets defined by them. We spend as much time supercharging as possible. So like, from now to the end of the level, basically, I'm going to be supercharging.
Yeah, the supercharges will be broken up because this level is kind of has a really weird layout compared to regular levels in this game. But for the most part, we are carrying the supercharge as long as possible in every single section we can.
Yeah, so we're gonna get all that stuff and then die because there's nowhere really to go. It's kind of a dead end. And then more supercharging.
I also think this level is really interesting because between like NBS and 120, like these two levels are just wildly different. Oh,
okay.
You might need a jump.
Yeah. That part is the hardest part of this level. You'll see in a second what I was supposed to do. Okay, shut up. Shut up.
I'm kidding.
One thing about this level is this is probably the one level in the entire game where it's very evident if you remember a lot about the original. It's very evident that supercharging is very different in Reignited compared to PS1 because in Reignited, it's more of a kind of like a momentum, slowly start to gain more speed as you go, whereas in the PS1, you kind of go not full on top speed, but you definitely gain a lot of speed immediately, and that actually changes how speedrunners in the PS1 version and Reignited kind of tackle this level.
Yeah. Well, you can see the way it works in this game, the supercharging, is it like builds up momentum over time. So like you saw there, I was just able to kind of loop myself to stall on that ramp and build up the speed I needed to just jump straight up here instead of going the intended way. Also, there is a way... Yeah, at the top of that area right there, there is a way to get the thief and get all the stuff on the top of it and then drop down and supercharge to the fan chest, but I don't know why. I've been really struggling to make that happen recently. It's just not.
I swear,
also,
every time I've done a 120 run, I cannot get the thief to work how I want it to, but I can get it to work every time in NBS.
Yeah, which makes no sense because it's
I don't know
exactly
why.
the same. Also,
No, yeah, your approach is the same, so I don't know why.
I'm missing a 2-gem and I know exactly where it is. Unfortunate. I could tell I was pretty sure I didn't hit it, but there was no way to really recover it. Right back here. Unfortunate. Not a big time loss.
Now,
Just...
Jank Man! Yay! I can't wait for Jank Man. This is my favorite boss.
This is the boss we were saying was the cool one.
Yeah. It's also just the funniest level in Spyro 1 because it's the level that breaks the most.
Everyone says that, but I haven't had it break in so long.
Well, here's the thing. It doesn't break often, but if a level in Spyro 1 is to break, it is this level.
Okay, so the main thing is there's one really common issue that does happen often, but if you know how to avoid it, it's really easy to avoid. So.
Well, here's the thing. It's not even just that. There are just some other things that break in a level, and they're just funny. That's why it's called Jank Man, you know? He's just a little janky, and it's fine.
Yeah.
He's doing his best.
We still love him.
And that's why I love him. He's got his cool mohawk, and he's living life.
Yeah. Something I haven't mentioned up until now is you might have seen on that like staircase, I was like going up and down on the stairs really fast. Oops. That's because the fastest way to climb stairs in this game is to actually like jump up to the next one, but instead of just letting Spyro land, you hit X again to glide down onto it, and that lets you just like start your next jump faster. So it'll be pretty brief, but you'll see on like these two steps coming up here I will do it too, and on the next two after in a second. Oops. And then right here, if we get a little nice. This section's really annoying because where the fodder is random, and those bowling enemies can run into the fodder and kill it themselves and the fodder. And if it happens right there, then the butterfly goes into the air, and then you don't have sparks picking up gems for you for in that section, and it's kind of annoying. But and yeah, this is Metalhead. He didn't do anything janky for us, thank God. But yeah, this is the only like kind of interesting boss fight in the game, really. Is you gotta like these pylons turn like red and will shock, and you have to break them while they're green.
I think it's also the best looking boss level too.
You think so?
I personally dig the vibe a lot more than the other ones. I don't think all the other ones are bad except Toasty. I don't like Toasty at all.
Oh, you don't like I was just gonna say Toasty and like Jacques are probably my favorites vibe-wise.
I like Metalhead and Blowheart vibes.
Honestly, I think
but I'll call it
I
Jacques.
kind of like. Actually, I'm with Jamie on this one. I love the vibe, especially in Reignited with Metalhead. Now that I'm thinking about it, it's probably the level that I actually love, the only boss level that I actually really like. Whereas all the others, I'm like, oh, they're okay. I like them, but Metalhead I really like.
Fair enough.
Oh, we're about to go to the next homeworld here in a minute. And pretty much every homeworld has been like a little bit step up in difficulty.
And then this one just kind of breaks the ceiling and keeps going.
This one, you're climbing a mountain to get to the next difficulty. This next homeworld has easily two of the hardest levels in 120. And surprise, surprise, both of those levels are really hard because they both have supercharges in them. The first level and the fourth level.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the number.
Yeah, so we're going into Haunted Towers right now, which is easily the hardest in the level in the game. By a good bit.
Yep.
And then Lofty Castle will also be in a couple levels from now, so... Yeah, I make no promises that this level goes even remotely okay. I will pray and do my best. This level was already pretty hard before, and then it's not a recent strat, but it's been found since my PB, where there's a newer supercharge, which I will be going for, and is very hard, and if I mess it up, we'll lose a lot of time, because there's really no backup besides get the things you miss a lot slower.
Yeah, but in that slim chance you get it, it'll look pretty cool.
It'll look pretty cool.
Pretty darn swagalicious, champ.
Yeah, so like we were kind of explaining before, there is like when like the way the supercharge works in this game is that you kind of like it's very momentum based. So Spyro will like slowly start speeding up once you start your supercharge, and then if you like lean into walls, he'll slow down again, and then start speeding up once you stop. So the start of this supercharge is going to involve me like hitting a wall in just the right way to jump over a fairy and slow down enough so I can get a couple of awkwardly placed gems. You'll see what I mean in a minute. But we're going to have to first start by cleaning up some of this stuff that isn't possible to get with supercharge, and also just getting to the ramp. This flames. Oh yeah, this is the first time we're actually using one of these. There are these fairies. There was one other level that did it before, but we didn't use it in that. These fairies give you a super flame power up, and it lets you break metal, which you normally can't do with the flame. Which we will be getting here to break this metal door if I hopefully did it fast enough. Yep. And then we'll be getting another permanent one at the end of the level. Not for the whole game, but for the rest of the level. But yeah, here's the supercharge, hopefully.
By far the easiest supercharge. Go 100% easy.
Okay. Good start.
Got it. One of the harder parts out of the way. Still got another one coming up.
Okay.
Nice.
Still got more. Oh my god, okay.
Incredible. Incredible.
That was amazing. Like,
Yeah.
supercharges throughout this run, or throughout any run that Cat does, is absolutely a sight to behold.
Yeah, that went extremely well. This might even gold, to be honest. We'll see.
that was clean.
Yeah, and like Kat was saying, that supercharge was messed up even once. It loses a lot of time because the way this level is designed, it's meant for you to do a lot of backtracking and a lot of going back and forth and trying to get everything because all the metal enemies needing to be super flamed. But
yeah, normally you're God, sorry.
yeah, but no, yeah, normally what you're meant to do is kind of get these super flame power-ups throughout the level until you manage to get to the permanent one, which Kat
Has it
just
now.
did a moment ago, and just kind of basically clean up on the rest of the level. But Kat doesn't need to do that, or nearly as much because of that wonderful supercharge.
Yeah, normally Spyro has like a skin, and he looks really cool and like glowy because he has it, but you couldn't see it because I had the retro skin on instead.
Now, I feel like it's worth mentioning that the next supercharge you do will probably look harder, but isn't nearly as hard. And I feel like the Haunted charge is deceptively hard.
The Haunted is
Like-
deceptively hard, but I will say my consistency with Lofty is not very good. So
No, I'm not saying Lofty's easy or anything. I'm just saying for those who don't know how the Haunted charge works, it is really hard.
yeah,
Very hard. There are 3 different parts to that are all difficult, and one of the scariest parts is literally just a single jump.
yeah.
So, huzzah!
Huzzah.
Huzzah, chill. Oh my god.
But yeah, coming into Passage here. This is also a very cycle-based level. There's going to be a lot of... There's like these fools that turn their lanterns on and off, and when the light is on, the enemies will be small, and then when they turn their light off, the enemies will be big. And you can flame the fools to make the enemies change, but in most cases, we are going to be trying to just be on cycle. So far, making it so good.
This
Yeah.
level's pretty cool too.
Yeah, I like this level. Very aesthetically. I like it a lot. Yeah, so... We're not going to be able to get every enemy small, but we see right there, we got like almost all of them. Then we're going to drop down and take this little side path.
This level is also just a really long level.
Yeah. If you remember earlier, I said Ice Cavern was tied for the most dragons in a level with 5. This is the other level that has 5.
Yeah.
Just
It's
a very
crazy
long
amount.
level. Yeah, also that fool right there actually doesn't have like a cycle. He just sits there until you flame him, so... Alright. This is one of the levels I have a gem check. 300 after getting that Cupid guy right there is what I look for, just because there's a lot of loose gems that are easy to miss.
I look at the dragon before this one and this one. You should be at like
274
before, yeah, and then
330
330 on that, yeah.
Yeah.
Then you should be at 392
Yeah, at
going
the top
up
of
the
this whirlwind.
whirlwind. Yeah.
Like, I know a lot of these...
Remembering my
Look at
numbers.
you. I know a lot of these gem counts, I just don't end up using them because 99 out of 100 times I'm not missing gems, and then when I do, the run's over anyways, pretty much, so...
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Oh, wow, look at the ego on this guy. I'm kidding.
I think to be fair, Kat's totally earned that ego.
Oh, that's so sweet of you to say. Oops.
One thing we haven't touched a whole lot about this homeworld in particular is that some of the enemies, as you're kind of seeing, they grow up or shrink down in size. It's because there's a cannon that you're kind of just seeing the lasers being fired off screen. Is they kind of changed the properties of some of the enemies, where they turned into either beatable enemies where you can just a simple charge or flame can beat them, or they become
bigger.
very much more difficult to traverse.
Also, triple input cannon right there. There's a funny like bug where you normally just like can get on the cannon. You might have seen it in Peacekeepers. Those are the only 2 cannons in the game. But you get like on the side of it and you push it with Spyro's horns. Normally you just get on the cannon and you hold like left or right, whichever direction you're pushing. The game doesn't actually check if you're holding it more than once. So if you hold, what I do is right on D-pad, right on analog, and right on arrow keys, you actually go 3 times as fast because you're holding right 3 separate times. And it saves like half a second, but it's cool. I remember when I first started playing this game and somebody, like, then that was found or somebody pointed it out to me. I remember trying to plug in, like, multiple keyboards and controllers to see if I could get it to go, like, 16 times speed. I had a keyboard at my feet and I was using my toes to hit the direction. Yeah, we are coming up. This is the last flight level. Oh, I don't know why I charged early there. That was really silly of me. Hopefully it won't mess up any cycles. But yeah, if you want to read any donations or any incentives, you can do that right now. I guess not.
There it is. Sorry there. I had a hiccup on my side, but I was also just being very impressed that you reached the level of aiming where you have like the keyboard at your feet.
Yeah.
I'm happy just to let folks know that, kind of as I said earlier, we are keeping the Spyro color poll open through Year of the Dragon. So if you would like to change the color, you certainly can do so, though right now Retro is still in the lead, and we still have about $90 that we need to meet our Borderlands 2 glitch exhibition. So, but thank you all for everyone who's been so very kind and generous over the course of this weekend. I'll just give one more quick reminder of what we're raising money for, which is the Transgender Law Center. They were founded in 2002, and they are the largest national trans-led organization advocating for a world where all people can define themselves and their futures. And they are grounded in racial justice and legal expertise, and they are committed to ensuring transgender and non-conforming people are able to live and thrive. So thank you all again so much for your support right here in this very first run of our first event. It's been absolutely wonderful to see, and I know this weekend is only going to get better.
Yeah, I'm sure. If it's doing this well in my run, the first run of the marathon, it only gets better from here, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. And speaking of Kat's input methods, did you know that Kat has been doing this entire run with mouse and keyboard on his feet? But it's so impressive.
That's true. I am playing most of the run with the controller, and then when I tell you I'm doing keyboard mouse stuff, I'm using my feet. That's not actually true. I will actually... What we do is we find places... I'm using a controller like right now, and for the vast majority of the run. Whenever I'm doing supercharges, I'll find the most convenient spot to put my controller like in my lap, and then I'll put my hands, you know, on the keyboard mouse and switch over. And then again, when we're done, we'll switch back. There are some sections where it's like there isn't a convenient place to switch back, like at the end of this supercharge, there'll be like a 5 or 10 seconds that I need to keep playing on keyboard mouse, so you kind of do need to be at least passable on both input, or like on your other input method if you're not playing keyboard mouse mainly. Which there is only one runner in this game who has gotten to like a decent level playing with keyboard mouse only, so...
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit of cycle here. If you haven't noticed, the gimmick of this level is there are these fairies trapped in these cages, and when you free 3 of them, they'll go like activate a whirlwind for you that I can jump into right here. And then we are going into the second hardest supercharge of the run, so hopefully this one goes at least kind of okay.
Yay. This one doesn't have any specific hard things, it just has a lot of...
And already missed the 2 jump.
movement.
It's alright, that should not a huge deal. Okay, this is already not going great. Okay, I was able to at least show off what it looks like. I'm gonna have to death abuse and go back for a 2-gem that I missed right at the start, but I will still take that for sure. Getting that 2-gem's not even gonna be that big of a time loss.
Yeah, even just achieving what Cat ended up achieving with the supercharge is still like really, really impressive. As we kind of said, this is like the second hardest supercharge in the entire game, man. It's very easy to kind of mess up at any point much earlier than that. So already getting as far,
like I said,
getting as far as Cat did with that supercharge is still really impressive.
Yeah, it's funny how all of like the easy supercharges have not gone very good this whole run, and all the hard ones have gone almost as well as possible.
I gotta love the good old marathon luck or marathon syndrome, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. I mean, I'd rather show off the harder ones than the easy ones anyway, so
Yeah.
I'm not gonna complain too much.
Now we're going into the boss of this homeworld, Jacques. I love Jacques. I just call him Doc. %99 sure this guy is French.
I don't know. Jock kind of gives me some New Jersey vibes. I don't know why.
Interesting.
It's not Jacques, it's Jacques.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jacques.
Yeah, that's definitely not New Jersey.
Hmm.
Surely. Oh yeah, this is a boss again, I guess.
And really, the boss is more so the actual level, not the actual boss itself. So the main gimmick of this level is you kind of see these little jester guys, and you kind of saw it throughout the Dreamweaver's homeworld, is that you flame those Dreamweavers and platforms start to kind of rise and fall, and you have a certain time limit to achieve what you want to achieve while they are flamed down. And it's it can be really tricky because there's a lot of pretty precise platforming in this level.
Yeah, you'll see in a little bit. There is one platform in particular where I kind of push it to a little bit closer than I should, but it should be fine.
Here's maybe one of my favorite little
Also
platforming quirks
invisible.
is the fact that you don't actually have to go on top of that little platform. You just charge and get under it. The whirlwinds will still pick you right up.
Yeah, the whirlwind right there extends underneath the little rock platform it's on, so you can just jump straight into it and it'll pick you up. It barely saves any time, but it looks cool.
Oh yeah, the boss is dead. Woo.
Oh yeah, that was the boss, by the way.
Oh yeah,
Believe it or not,
I don't know if you
this
could tell.
epic game, epic.
Yeah, that was New Jersey native Jacques.
God of War boss fights have nothing on Spyro the Dragon.
True.
I swear.
Spyro is the Dead Souls of 3D boss fights, I think.
For real, for real.
Dark Souls. Why I say Dead Souls? But yeah, this platform right here
I didn't
should
wanna
be
say
more
anything
than
to
fine.
embarrass you.
Yeah, okay. Like I just played that really well, so it wasn't tight at all. But if you mess up anything right there, you miss that, and then you gotta go back and flame the fool and use like 15 seconds.
Unica. I'm like actually looking at some of these dragon names. I don't really pay attention to them.
Have you never looked at them before? That's crazy.
Well, to be fair, I don't have the best memory. So
Yeah, I know
I've
you
probably
don't.
looked at all of them in my casual playthrough.
My favorite dragon name in Spyro 1 is definitely Bubba.
Everyone loves Bubba.
But I like Latif.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, Latif is the good one. And we'll be playing kind of a similar game with the next run, except instead of 80 dragons, it's 100 dragon eggs.
Yeah.
All
Also,
with, names.
Also, I don't know how we forgot to mention it until the very last balloonist, but I didn't even have time to explain it beforehand. But there is a trick in this game called EBL, or Early Balloonist Load, where if you remember, I was talking about boosted jumps earlier, where you're charging and then you slide into a jump. If you do that into a balloonist like text box trigger, and then menu through and go to the next homeworld before you hit the ground, the game will actually start loading the next homeworld a little sooner, because I believe the trigger for it to start is when Spyro like lands in the basket. But if you do it before like hitting the ground, then it counts. It starts when you hit the ground instead. It ends up loading the next homeworld like a couple seconds faster.
So yeah, so we're now in Nasty's world, and there's only really 4 levels if you include the final boss. And in any percent, or I guess in a non 120% playthrough, the objective just simply go to the end of the level and you're already making progress. But this one, there's a lot of really interesting platforming and a lot of collecting. That is, including a couple of dragons, even though by this point in the game, in a casual playthrough, you don't need any more dragons if you're not going for 120%.
You actually don't need any collectibles anymore at this point. If you're just trying to like beat the final boss and not 100% in the game. But yeah, normally, the way this homeworld works is there are 2 levels and then the boss fight and then the bonus level. And you need to start with this level, the first one, North Cove. And if you get to the end of level vortex and leave through it, that's the trigger to like unlock the next level for you. If you do the same thing in the next level, that unlocks the final boss, and then once you beat the final boss and you have 100%, you open the bonus level and do the rest, and do the last level in the game. But yeah, since we're doing 120, we have to go into these levels and get all of the things anyways. We don't just have to get to the end of the level. We also in any percent, the main any percent category for this, have a skip that lets you go straight into the final boss and not have to do these 2 levels at all. But that's for a different run.
Although we ran into Latif Jamie's favorite dragon just now.
Yeah. The lore of the game, actually, if you pay attention, is... Well, first of all, the lore of the game in general is very simple. It's just, Oh, why did I just do that? I actually don't know how to... I gotta run around again. What just happened?
Yeah.
I missed this blue gem and tried to turn around and just like completely messed up the recovery. That was crazy. Anyways, yeah, the lore of the game is very simple. It's just the dragons were on the news and we're talking about how ugly and smelly Nasty Nork is, and he gets mad and freezes all the dragons, and that's why we're saving them. And then the reason why we saw Latif again, even though he's in Dreamweavers, is because all the dragons that are in this homeworld got freed and then came back to Nasty to try and beat him again and got frozen again because they're all stupid.
And Thomas, I believe, was in the Artisans?
Yeah, that's the one before Town
homeworld?
Square.
Yeah. Hey, I actually remembered a dragon. I can't believe it.
Oh my god, you did.
While you make your way through, do you mind if I very quickly read out a donation that came through?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so we got $10 from Big Law saying, paying the pun tax for any future puns I make during this weekend. Let's continue to raise money and put on an incredible event. Much love to all the runners, volunteers, and staff behind this. We got this together. But, I don't know, that was a pun tax, donation that you did, and you didn't give me any puns to read.
I'm pretty sure the pun was in chat.
I mean...
In that case, we need to have the next donation be a pun, and then the following donation be the pun tax.
Yeah.
Yes. Because I will read your puns on stream chat. Absolutely.
Alright, so we're going into the final supercharged level here. The first half of this level has a supercharge that has been known for a long time, has been made very consistent. It's one of the easier ones, even though it looks pretty complicated. The second half of the level is actually might be the hardest supercharge in the run. Because it's so hard, I actually don't know how to do it consistently at all. But we're gonna go for it anyways, because if you mess it up about halfway through or a little more, it doesn't even lose time to not going for it. So it'll be fine. Even if I mess it up really early, it doesn't lose that much time. But, yeah, you'll see why it's really hard, or I'll explain when we do it, and why it's very, very inconsistent. You're gonna notice we're leaving a couple of gems behind here. That is all intentional. You might have noticed there's a strong chest back there that we need to supercharge through. Oh, I need to get... I don't know, I just completely forgot about these for a second. Yeah, there was a strong chest back there we need to, so we're gonna have to supercharge. That's what the supercharge ramp is for. It's also jump up here, so they're gonna start it here. Oh, okay.
The slowdown.
Yeah, that can happen sometimes. And then, okay, we'll just do an extra. We'll just do an extra lap. It's fine.
Yeah, no, we're good.
Yeah, if you hit enemies in a very specific way, you just get like a slowdown. Dude, okay.
Interesting.
I don't know what's going on right now, man. Okay. So pretend this is the first time we're going around here.
One more.
That was a couple of weird things. Watch.
Amazing, you still held on to the part, which the important.
Yeah, holding on isn't the hard part. It's just a little annoying. Okay, and then this is the really hard one. So the reason this is hard is you're gonna see oh, never mind. Okay, we're just not even gonna go for it at all. So what you're supposed to be able to do is, if you do what I was saying earlier, where you like hold a directional button against that wall while supercharging, you kind of get a slowdown. If you slow down and go into that corner right there, you just like, Spyro just gets like turned around. He won't bonk, he'll just like slowly rotate. Which I don't know why that happens. And I also don't know why that bonk happens, it just happens sometimes if you're... Oh, I'm dead. Okay. This is a rough Twilight.
No, I think it's going alright.
And we're just gonna get the supercharge and then go back in. Yeah, this is the second most infamous level in terms of enemies and their difficulty, but it's not supposed to be hard for me. I'm supposed to know what I'm doing. Just gonna get the last of these gems. Yeah, it did not go well at all. Man, I'm sad I didn't get to even show off like the first half of that supercharge. So, like I was saying, you want to like supercharge into the corner and it kind of turns you around, and then there's a second corner you have to do that in, but you also have to be turning your mouse and using the keyboard at the same time. It's really weird, and you have to like really maneuver to dodge all the enemies that are shooting at you. And then there are two enemies at the end that are almost impossible to like swipe and hit both and not bonk or get hit. I have not found a way to do it consistently at all, so if you can get up to that point and then just like stop the supercharge, it still saves time, but if you could get those two enemies too, it would save even more. Now we're going into Nasty Nork. This is the final boss, and this is the hardest boss, but not for like the boss itself. You're gonna see we're gonna start off by running along some of these tracks and getting these key thieves to unlock these doors. And you might have noticed I killed that one like instantly. The next one's gonna be pretty easy too. But there is a track that Nasty runs along, and you have to like chase him and catch him to hit him. And there's a lot of collectibles on the route. And I'm gonna be going for something called One Cycle Nasty, where it is possible to chase Nasty and get to his first spot and hit him and get every collectible along the way, but it is very tight, so gotta do a lot of... Okay, well, if I'm gonna miss gems like that, it's not gonna happen. Gotta do a lot of very peculiar
now as opposed to in a second.
Yeah. If you miss anything during this chase, there is 0 chance of recovery. It's already too late. You cannot make a mistake. You can barely even like be a little slow in some sections. Like that wide turn might have been too much, but we'll see. If I miss it, it's not the biggest deal. I just gotta chase him around the track again. So I'm not sure if that was good enough. About to find out.
I believe.
I don't think it was. Yeah, no. Unlucky.
Ah, so close. So close.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just a little bit slow. It's okay, I just gotta chase him around one more time. There are easier versions. You can go for like 1 1/4 and 1 1/2 cycle, they're called, where you can intentionally miss some things, flame him, and then go back to get them real quick. And that loses less time than doing 2 cycles like I'm doing, but I'm more or less consistent with the 1 cycle. It's just a hard trick and it messes up sometimes.
And fake GG, because we're still not done with the run.
Yeah, we got one more level coming up after this, which is gonna be the bonus level. So, assuming I didn't miss anything, And we should have 12 eggs, 79 dragons, and 11,965 gems, I think, right now, right? Something like that. So we're gonna get Magnus. We didn't mention it at the start of the run, but the very first dragon you're supposed to get at the run has an unskippable cutscene, and you can actually just jump right before you free the dragon, and it'll let you skip it. We do the same thing on that dragon right there. It's another unskippable cutscene, but if you jump right before. But yep, we have everything we need. We're going into Nasty Salute. To explain...
And Nestor Skip is really... It's funny, because in Reignited, it's pretty easy to get Nestor Skip, whereas in the original PS1, there is a Nestor Skip, but it is exponentially more difficult in the PS1 version.
Yeah. And then what I just did there was a trick called Height Cap Break. So this level is very unique. It combines normal level mechanics with flight. So there are a bunch of collectibles and Spyro can fly around, but the way they make it so it's like a puzzle is there's something called a height cap, where normally when you start the level, Spyro can't fly up very high, he'll hit like a ceiling. And you run around the level and you kill the thieves and they have keys and you unlock doors. And the higher point he flies from, the higher he can, the higher his fullest height can be. So you'll unlock these doors, you'll climb up some steps, you'll start flying, and then your height cap gets raised. You can do a trick where you trick the game into thinking you're holding down, but you're actually going up, and that lets you skip right to the final plane, which then you can unlock the final door and get the highest flight possible. So we're doing this whole level sequence break out of order. You're supposed to be getting the thieves you see there, getting the keys, unlocking some doors, but we don't need to do that. But yeah, we're coming up on time in a little under a minute, probably 30 seconds if someone wants to be ready on that.
It feels really good just being able to collect all these high value gems and also have free flight.
Yeah.
It's such a nice reward.
And then you come into this room and it's all fireworks. They all have 25s in them. Every gem in this level is a 10 or a 25, and this whole room is all 25s. It's nice reward. And then timing ends now.
Hey,
GG.
GG!
Thank you. And then real quick, not that it matters, just for reference, that was a 1:11:05 load list time. I was running my timer, which world record is a 1:09 flat, so that's not a bad run. And then in-game time, 1:01:38.
Pretty decent, pretty solid.
In-game time's pretty irrelevant, but we check it for fun. Yeah, that's my run.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Can you please tell chat where they can find you if they would want to see more Spyro?
Yeah, the main place I do runs is my Twitch stream, Toasted Cat, same name, with the K. I also have a YouTube channel that I upload some videos to, also Toasted Cat, but it is not used very often, so if you want to find me, it'll be on Twitch. If you guys want to say where you find yourselves too.
Oh, yeah. I stream Spyro, OG, and SRT at Chamey with 4 Ys. That's about it.
And I also speedrun Spyro, mainly Reignited 3, but I also speedrun a boatload of other games, but I will save that spiel for about a little over an hour from now when we finish my run after this.
Yeah. We'll be back for Toro's commentary on Toro's run too. You're not getting rid of us yet. not that easily.
All right, in that case, chat, we're going to take a little break. We're going to have everyone shuffle their chairs, and we'll be back for Spyro Year of the Dragon in just a bit.